This morning, the fallout from President Trump's first actions in office, including new pardons, hitting Washington. As overnight, the president issued another executive order, placing all federal employees in diversity, equity, and inclusion roles on paid leave, and promising to close all DEI-related programs. But for much of Trump's first day in office, focused on his controversial decision to pardon or commute the sentence of every person convicted of a crime related to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The move encompassing those convicted of violent crimes, including electroshocking police officers, dragging them through the Capitol, and assaulting them with chemical spray, metal barriers, and their own equipment. Overnight, two top police organizations, including the powerful Fraternal Order of Police, which endorsed Trump, condemning the pardons and commutations, writing, quote, "It devalues the sacrifices made by courageous law enforcement and sends a dangerous message." The president asked by NBC's Peter Alexander about one defendant, DJ Rodriguez, who pleaded guilty for assaulting D.C. police officer Michael Fanone with a stun gun and was sentenced to 12 years in prison.
Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything.
On Morning Joe today, Fanone running through a list of those who pled guilty to attacking him as he seeks protective orders.
Daniel Rodriguez, sentenced to more than 12 years in prison after he pled guilty and admitted to using a taser device, applying it to the base of my skull.
As Republicans on Capitol Hill were questioned about the move.
The president's sole decision.
Some expressing hesitation on the inclusion of violent offenders.
To me, I just can't agree. It was surprising to me that it was a blanket pardon.
The Bureau of Prisons releasing 211 individuals in approximately 12 hours. Among those pardoned, former Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes.
I think it's a good day for America.
And former Proud Boys head Enrique Tarrio. Both were serving lengthy sentences for seditious conspiracy.
So none of these people should have been.
Now, controversial pardons have been a bit of a bipartisan theme the last few days. In the last few hours of his presidency, Joe Biden preemptively pardoned members of that committee that investigated January 6th, including former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, as well as Dr. Anthony Fauci and General Mark Milley. None of those people have been charged or convicted of any crime. And moments before the inauguration began Monday, he also pardoned members of his own family. Craig?
Garrett, let me ask you while I have you about something else here. There's some new developments on President Trump's nomination for Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. What more can you tell us about those developments?
A very interesting movement on the Hill yesterday. Senators received an affidavit from Pete Hegseth's former sister-in-law, Danielle Hegseth, accusing him of threatening conduct towards his second wife, Samantha Hegseth. Now, this came after staffers from the Senate Armed Services Committee had been in contact with her, and Democratic Senator Jack Reed sought a statement from her on her personal knowledge about Mr. Hegseth's fitness for this position. Now, among the allegations, an escape plan and a code word Samantha developed in case she ever felt the need to get away from her then husband, which apparently happened once. Hegseth's lawyer dismissed the allegations, and Samantha Hegseth, for her part, said in a statement, quote, "There was no physical abuse in her marriage." Now, we should also note that in 2021, both Pete and Samantha Hegseth signed a court document saying that neither of them claimed to be the victim of domestic abuse. Craig?
All right, Garrett Haake for us there at the White House. Garrett, thank you.
All right, let's bring in Hallie Jackson, our senior Washington correspondent. Hallie, good morning. Let's talk about these pardons. President Trump got pushback from both sides of the aisle. Police unions seemed to be furious, some of which had endorsed him. Is this more blowback than he anticipated?
Think about the scope of these pardons, Savannah. It feels like that is what it comes down to, the pushback that you're hearing from the people that you referenced, including some in President Trump's own party. He was repeatedly asked during the campaign before he took office about whether he would pardon these violent offenders specifically. Now, President Trump himself never explicitly ruled that out, even when he was asked, but you did see signals from people like his own vice president, J.D. Vance, who said that, in his words, obviously people who committed violence that day should not be pardoned. The president himself was asked last night by our own Peter Alexander about those comments, because obviously, as we have seen, he did, in fact, issue those full pardons to some of those individuals, to many of them. Why Vice President Vance was wrong to suggest that violent offenders should not be pardoned. That was the question. The president said it's because of the time they've served behind bars, in some cases only a fraction of their total sentences, adding that their lives have been ruined. Savannah.
Well, some of the administration officials are saying these first few days are meant to be shock and awe. Right. On that topic, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that the president has railed against. He signed an executive order over the night that has a real impact there.
It sure does, and it's starting today, Savannah. 5 o'clock Eastern, close of business today. That is when workers in those offices will be told that they are on basically immediate paid leave. Contracts are going to be terminated. Trainings are supposed to end. The social media accounts, the web pages are getting pulled down as well. The White House also wants to know whether there's an attempt to, in their words, use coded language to try to disguise some of these programs. This is something that the president talked about on the campaign trail, and it is a big reversal of a Biden-era push. Keep in mind that conservatives have long been critical of these DEI programs, not just in the federal government, but think about the private sector, too, in those private corporations. The White House press secretary, in a statement overnight, says this is all. You talk about, Savannah, promises made, promises kept. She says that this is part of a pledge by the president to return America to, in her words, a merit-based society where people are hired based on their skills and not the color of their skin, Savannah.
Hallie Jackson in Washington for us. Thank you, Hallie.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.